One of the city's biggest golf tournaments begins on Monday, the Kmart Van Petrick Memorial Golf Tournament. Lots of stars in town: Leslie Nielsen, Buddy Hackett, Dow Finsterwald, Gibby Gilbert, just to name a few, and one of the guys who helped define the presentation of local sports in the city of Detroit for over 20 years, and also the voice of the ABC College Scoreboard for many years, and also an author of 7 books, Dave Diles. Thanks for joining us this morning. This is great. I love having you. Good to see you.
Been a while.
Been a while. We're over on WXYZ Radio.
Yeah, that's right.
Many
Broadcast house, yeah.
You miss this? You miss this?
I appreciate how I'm treated when I come back to Detroit. It gives you a good feeling. Possibly I didn't appreciate it enough when I was here, but I am so well treated here that it's really like home to me. And I don't miss working that much. I miss being paid, but now I like Detroit.
What are you doing now? You've left the farm in Ohio. You moved to North Carolina.
I finally sold the farm in Ohio after many years, because the farm, for all that I thought it was when I used to use it as a getaway when I was here, and I had this utopian idea that the farm was going to be the be-all, end-all to my life. And once I moved there full-time, it lost its magic. I was out of place there, and it took me a long time to confront that with myself and to admit that. But there was nothing to do, and I was impoverished there as far as my intellect and everything else. The wonderful people there, and they're not, they're just different, and I'm different, and I've changed, and maybe they haven't.
It was the old family farm, wasn't it?
No, it's not the family, not too far from where I grew up, about 15 miles from where I grew up, and I have a lovely place to live. But I was out of place there. And so a year ago, I went down to North Carolina and built a home there.
And you're writing?
I'm doing a novel now, trying to, although I don't know that I can accomplish it. I've tried, I've done 7 other books, but to do a novel is almost like having built 7 garages, and you know pretty much the format for that. And then somebody says, gee, how about building a house? And you say, well, I don't know about that. So I'm trying to do it.
I was talking, we'll talk about the old days here just for a second.
That's fine.
Because I was talking to a friend of mine last night about you and mentioning I was going to talk to you today, and he said, Dave Diles walked away from a network news show, ABC College Scoreboard show that was on for many years, back when ABC Sports was at the zenith of its popularity, and you just walked away.
I know I did. I was at a stage in my life, I don't want to make this a confessional, but I was treated very well in Detroit. I was treated well at the network, but then when I found out how much money other people were making at the network, I was always so happy when Roone Arledge sent me a contract that I didn't have an agent, nor a manager, nor an attorney. I mean, I have that Midwestern mentality that if somebody sends you a contract or their word is good, I couldn't wait to sign it and get it back in the mail unless they changed their mind. And then I found out how much other people were making, and I got my nose out of joint a little bit, and I thought, that's really not fair. There are people that I helped break in the business who are making twice what I am. So I had gone through a rather difficult stage in my personal life. The mother of my children had passed away, and I had 2 young children, and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. And I always said I had enough money to last the rest of my life, provided I don't live too long. And I just didn't want to do it. And maybe it was burnout before I knew what the term was. But I just got to a point where I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just walked away. You
were kind of the second generation, I think I would say, of local television newscasters. The first was the Don Wattricks and the Van Marshalls, and then you guys came along. You came here in 1961. I'd love to find out how you got here, and talk about the evolution that took place, because you, in essence, defined the format for newscasts that are on local news stations all across the country today. What do you think of this evolution? Well, I don't want to be like an old jock who looks back and says, gee, we were wonderful, and these kids today don't appreciate what they have. I don't have any sour grapes. This town in particular, whatever I have and whatever good has happened to me, I owe to the city of Detroit and the viewers here, because I've been inordinately well treated. But Channel 7, when I went there in 1961, I was an Associated Press sports editor.
7 had no 11 o'clock newscast. Soupy was throwing pies in people's faces.
At 11 o'clock?
At 11 o'clock. And Channel 7 was well behind the times as far as developmental things and techniques and equipment. And we were doing silent footage when other people, Channel 4, Dick Westerkamp and Jack LeGoff over here too, were doing sound bites. But Channel 7 was very slow to catch up, as was ABC at the network level. And we had Jennings on at the age of 26 as an anchor. And Murphy Martin, and never to be forgotten Murphy Martin, and Howard K. Smith, and nobody knew what ABC was doing, mainly ABC. So I was in on the ground floor here at Channel 7, and it was the greatest years of my life. I mean, to help build, or to be a small part of what became the best news show in town, and worked with Bill Bonds and some of those people, and it was a joyous experience.
Love to hear some Bill Bonds stories, but we're running out of time, and I want to ask you about this book, From Ashes to Glory, a book about Bill McCartney and his Promise Keepers, who were in town recently. And the news stories that came out, there were accusations of cultism, there were accusations of racism, of sexism. Have your attitudes changed toward this guy since you wrote this book, which was 3 or 4 years ago, right?
I wrote it 3 or 4 years ago, but this is a new edition, a revised edition with a lot of updated material about Promise Keepers. No, Bill McCartney's a great Christian. He's a great human being. I love and admire and respect him very much, and Promise Keepers is not a cult. The whole essence of Promise Keepers, the founding principle is that men have abandoned their responsibilities to their wives and to their children and to their communities, and as a result, we have a deterioration of the family values in this country. And I'm not in the Christian Coalition. I'm way to the left of Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson and Ralph Reed. I'm a moderate in everything, I think. But Bill McCartney is a great man, and this is an inclusive organization rather than an exclusive organization. And he's a good man, and it's a good group, and the essence of the thing is to try to get men to behave.
And this is an updated version of the book, yes. From Ashes to Glory.
Just came out a couple of weeks ago.
What a pleasure. Good seeing you. Thanks for stopping by this
I've enjoyed it tremendously. Don't forget the Van Patrick Golf Tournament. This is for cancer research at Henry Ford Hospital, and Van, of course, has spent his great years right here in the studio.
We spent time talking to boy. Remember, he was the only sports voice in town.
The old announcer, that's right. But we want people to show up out at the TPC in Dearborn Country Club Monday. Just come out, it's free, and enjoy the day, and you'll see a lot of huge celebrities like Leslie Nielsen and Dal Fincherwald, my old college friend from Ohio University. But
see you tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. The intelligent sportscaster. Remember, no emotion, just insights. When we come back, no one else is going to have an update.
I didn't have any shtick. I didn't wait.
No shtick. An update on the weekend weather in just a moment.